For as long as you can remember, you've been given a very specific label. You're too emotional. You need to grow a thicker skin. You've been told, probably more times than you can count, to stop letting every little thing get to you. You might have even started believing there's something fundamentally broken about the way you're built. But what if everything you've been told is a lie? What if the very thing you've been taught to hide is actually your greatest advantage?
Science has a name for what you are. Psychologists call it high sensory processing sensitivity. But let's use a term that actually fits. You're not just sensitive, you're a finely tuned receiver. While the majority of the population is picking up the basic AM broadcast of life, you're locked onto a frequency with crystal clear, intricate detail. And in the next few minutes, we're going to explore the hard science that reveals your sensitivity isn't a flaw in your programming. It's an advanced operating system that gives you a unique view of reality.
To truly grasp this, we have to look at the hardware inside your skull. This isn't about being shy or introverted. This is biology. Your nervous system is literally wired differently. Imagine the human brain as a digital camera. Most people are shooting in a practical, energy-saving JPEG format. It captures the moment, it's efficient, and it doesn't take up much hard drive space. But your brain? Short pause for emphasis. Your brain is shooting in RAW, pause, slightly slower delivery. It's capturing every single pixel of data, preserving all the information from the scene, ready for deep processing later. Neuroscience has pinpointed 3 specific upgrades in your internal hardware that explain why your experience of the world is so intense. First, your brain lacks a standard-issue spam filter. Scientists call this low latent inhibition. A typical brain is designed to immediately delete 90% of incoming stimuli to conserve energy. It treats the hum of the lights, the distant traffic, and the subtle shift in a friend's expression as background noise. Your brain, however, flags all of it as important. You're processing the fabric of the chair, the faint smell of rain in the air, and the unspoken tension in a room all at the same time. This is why you get overwhelmed in busy places. But it's also why you're the first one to notice the small act of kindness, the beautiful detail in a painting, or the subtle pattern that leads to a breakthrough.
Second, your mirror neuron system is exceptionally powerful. These are the brain cells that allow us to empathize. For most, it's a cognitive exercise. I see you're sad, so I understand you're sad. For you, it's a physical experience. You don't just see someone's pain, you absorb it. You feel a weight in your own chest, a tightness in your own throat. You're not imagining it. Your brain is literally mirroring their emotional state in your own body. You're an emotional sponge living in a world that's constantly spilling.
And this brings us to the third and most misunderstood feature of your hardware: depth of processing. Psychologists call it the pause to check strategy. Maybe you've noticed you're slower to make decisions. You get frustrated with yourself for overthinking a simple comment or hesitating before answering a question. But here's the crucial distinction the world misses. You are not slow, you are thorough. While others are reacting on the surface, your brain has automatically engaged in what's called deep semantic encoding. It's unconsciously connecting the current moment to past memories, running future outcome simulations, and analyzing the hidden meaning behind the words. You aren't hesitating from confusion. You're hesitating because your brain is running a high-level diagnostic to find the most optimal path forward. That's not a defect. That is high-level computation. If this trait makes navigating the modern world so difficult, you might wonder why it still exists. This is the most critical part of the puzzle. If high sensitivity were a true evolutionary weakness, natural selection would have weeded it out millennia ago. But it didn't. It preserved it, carefully, in about 20% of the population. Why? Because the tribe needs you. Think of an ancient human tribe. The bold, risk-taking majority were the hunters and the warriors. They were essential for survival. But a tribe of only warriors would have charged into every saber-toothed tiger encounter without a second thought. They needed the advisors, the strategists. That was you. You were the one who noticed the subtle change in wind direction before the storm. You were the one who could read the body language of a neighboring tribe and sense they weren't to be trusted. What feels like weakness today was once an invaluable early warning system for the entire group. Our current world is built for the warriors. It's loud, fast, and rewards those who can bulldoze through sensory input. Of course, you feel out of place. But don't confuse feeling out of place with having no value. Your radar is just calibrated for a different environment. Now, carrying this powerful, high-resolution radar comes with a real physical cost. Because you're processing so much, your system reaches its limit much faster. When you suddenly need to retreat, go silent, or hide in a dark room, that's not you being dramatic or antisocial. That's your system's RAM being completely full. Your processor has overheated from running all those background tasks. Science has a beautiful metaphor to describe this. Most people are like dandelions. They're resilient. They can thrive almost anywhere. In a crack in the concrete, in a manicured lawn, in a field. The environment barely matters. But you are an orchid. If you're planted in harsh, toxic, or chaotic soil, you'll struggle. You'll wither far faster than the dandelions. And for years, you've probably blamed yourself for not being as tough as that dandelion.
But here's the groundbreaking part, called vantage sensitivity. When an orchid is placed in the right environment, with the perfect light, the right nutrients, and gentle care, it doesn't just survive, it blooms with the complexity, beauty, and brilliance that the dandelion can never achieve. You don't need to spend your life trying to become a tougher weed on the sidewalk. You need to find your greenhouse. When you stop fighting your nature and start curating your life to support it, you won't just catch up, you'll surpass them.
So here's the truth you need to hear. Stop trying to install a thicker filter. You can't change your fundamental biology. And frankly, the world doesn't need you to. We are drowning in numbness. We don't need you to be more calloused. We need you to be exactly who you are, in full resolution. But you must protect your gift. You must build your boundaries like a fortress. You must honor your need for silence and rest without guilt. And the next time someone tells you that you are too sensitive, I want you to pause, take a breath, and remember the science. Smile, not with arrogance, but with the quiet confidence of knowing the truth. You are not broken. You are not a mistake. You are simply seeing a world that others can only perceive in black and white. You are experiencing it in brilliant, vivid 8K color. And in a world that's becoming increasingly disconnected and numb, your profound ability to feel isn't a burden. It might just be the most human thing about you.
And because you process the world so deeply, you've probably built some invisible walls around your online life. You might watch, listen, and observe, but you rarely post. To everyone else, you just look like a ghost. But psychology suggests that this silence isn't emptiness. It could be a sign of a very different kind of inner strength. If you want to find out whether your quiet online presence is a mark of quiet confidence or hidden anxiety, click on the video right here. I'll break down the psychology of the digital ghost and why, for a finely tuned receiver like you, stepping back from the noise might be the healthiest thing you can do. I'll see you over there.